Back inside the Catalina today, we're going to address these moisture issues that are in the vessel. You can see where some mildew starting on the little sliding curtains, and we have some water here that you can see. And what happened is over time it leaked down here on this navigation station and just rotted out the particle board that was the lid to this. Now, the mahogany around it is still in good sound shape. The ply going down seems to be good, so I'm thinking all I'm going to have to do is rip this nav station out and just rebuild it. I want to do one improvement. I just lost a socket into the bilge. The one improvement I want to do is I want to make this so that a laptop will fit here more readily. And the main thing I want to do is get these pieces of plexiglass out and clean up the beds. That's a clean window. Nah, it ain't in there. So I want to get these out. I've already got this one out. I've got it inside. I've cleaned it up. I've got all the silicone. Please don't put silicone on your vessel. It doesn't last. It'll leak. Use caulk, because you're going to have to rebed these a lot. So use caulk instead of silicone. All right. Now I'm going to get around here and clean up the outside of this and get ready to rebed the window. So around this window you can see where the bead of silicone, see if I can get where I can see this in the lens myself. You can see this bead of silicone right here. It's just rolling off of the fiberglass. Now you can go at this several ways. I like to turn a chisel upside down, and this way I can kind of tilt it back so that I don't dig in. I can get a piece to break. I've also got a razor blade to get this started, and flip it over the same way so that I can tilt it down to peel away instead of dig in. I don't want to have a dug in groove in my fiberglass, make more of a repair than needs to be. Then we'll move along and we'll just clean all of this out and rebed it. We'll tape in here because you can see back here they didn't do a good tape line, and you see how they've got silicone on the inside. I'm going to try to do a better job than they did. Look at all that trash. I got to get that motor out, that head out, all that trash. I got to clean this thing up. It's time to get back to work on the Catalina. Now, as part of the Patreon crew, I'm going to show you why I strongly recommend against using silicone. If you'll look at this connection here, there's really not a good bond. See how that just flips around? Comes around this way. It's not really a good bond. And the reason this one's coming off right here is it was probably put on when it was really hot and they squeezed it out too much. They made a good rubber gasket or silicone gasket, but you'll notice that the window, there's nothing broken here at the bottom. So what actually happened is the moisture could build up as it comes down. See, there's no connection. You see where the dirt was right here, or is right here? This connection of silicone did not bond to the plexiglass in this section, so water was actually coming straight in here. We're going to find the same problem in that window immediately over the chart table. More than likely, once I get this fixed, I'll stop the little leaks that are coming in around the windows, and we'll be able to get some good sound wood back inside and fix that table. And once you've gone around and gotten all the silicone out of the window, you can kind of use your finger to rub around and get a few little loose chunks off. So I then take a piece of 220 and just in my hand, just very lightly rub the joint to where the bed is going to be. And then I'll take a piece of 500 and go over top of that. You can actually buff it. It really wouldn't hurt if you buff it. Just don't use any wax. But it really isn't going to hurt if it's roughed up a little bit, because what that'll do is it'll give you what's called tooth, so that the caulking will have something to actually bite and bind into. The silicone is going to be a pain in my keister to get rid of. Now, I don't know, but there's the screw hole here, and there was a screw hole here, and I dug all the silicone out of this one. And what I'm going to do is, it's going to take me a little longer to fix this. I thought this was going to be a one-day repair, but because of temperature, I cannot put gel coat in these holes that are there. So what I'm going to do is, these holes that don't fit the holes that are already in the plexiglass, I'm going to put a little thickened resin and put a little gel coat in them. Put a little dot of epoxy on here. I'm going to grind this out to about the size of a dime, and then I'll put gel coat in here, just because that's an opening into the fiberglass layers. Now, this is a solid fiberglass. There's no core in this particular part of the boat. If I'm not mistaken, this year they didn't use any core in this boat at all. It was all solid fiberglass. But anyway, that's a different story, different research altogether. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to grind out this just a little bit to dish it so that it will accept the gel coat, and I'll just put it in. I'm not going to worry about color matching, because this does have a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red to it. Gives it kind of a pinkish orange hue if you really compare it to a color chart. But anyway, I get this all sanded down, try to get every last little grain of this stupid silicone off of my vessel, and then I'll get the window put in and get her dried in, because that's the main thing. Your vessel has to be dry. You can't have a wet vessel. Now, in sanding, can't tell if that's a scratch from what they did previously right there. That's a scratch. I was thinking maybe I had a crack in the gel coat. If I have a crack, what I'll do is I'll gouge it out and put gel coat in it to fill the cracks. I don't want any cracks. And then you'll notice on the boat, I don't know if you can see these or not, but there's little cracks. Now, what they did is they took some kind of above water paint and they painted this. But the reason I don't like paint is because it does not expand and contract at the same rate as fiberglass, and you always wind up in a couple years having little cracks that looks like cracks in the fiberglass or in the gel coat, when it's actually just trash for paint that somebody's passed off as high quality paint. I don't like paint at all on a vessel. I like gel coat. It may take a little longer to do. There may be a little more work in it. But whenever I only have to do it every 10 to 20 years, then I like it like that. I don't like doing something every year over and over and over. Okay, thanks for viewing.